I am very excited about next month because next month, tomorrow, officially marks the start of spooky season. Now, we are going to get to the end of month movie ranking for September, but I do quickly want to talk about spooky season, really what it's going to look like on this channel. Now, first off, one thing I'm excited about is I have worked at a haunt for 4 years. This is my second haunt that I've worked at. This is my second year at this haunt, and we actually opened 2 weekends ago, but this is when we start getting busy and we start getting a lot of people, and I'm very excited about that. Everyone's kind of well acquainted at this point. We are also getting AC, finally. We didn't get it last year, and I live in Louisiana, so I'm very excited about that for October. And I do plan on making a vlog, depending on circumstances for this year, about that. And another thing I love about this month is, at least where I live, not a lot of people go to horror movies. And I find in October, more people go to horror movies where I live locally. I went to the secret screening for this month, and theater was really full. Like, I had not been in a theater that full in a long time. And I'm like, wow, this is what it's like in a full theater. So I'm definitely looking forward to having more full theaters going to horror movies, because I really do miss it a bit. And I like making content during spooky season. I'm more encouraged to than other months. And the classes I'm taking right now, because I'm at a college, actually we are taking some Halloween inspired lessons, so I'm very excited about that element too. But enough about next month. We are talking about the end of September. Now, this is a very busy month for movies, because I watched 13 movies this month. This is the most I've ever so far on this channel. Now, 5 was the Piranha franchise, which I watched all within like 2 days of each other, which I did a ranking, so you can do that kind of ranking there, because that's how they would look on this list. But I did watch all of that franchise and rank it. And I also managed to check out a good portion of the theater releases, with 5 theater releases. I forgot about him for a second. And 3 new watches. Now, keep in mind, this month was a little bit disappointing, and I found it hard to rank, surprisingly, especially like the first 3 I had a little bit difficulty, but we'll get there when I talk about them. And starting off strong at the lowest, where it belongs, or probably be at the end of the year 2025 list at the bottom, Strangers Chapter 2. Now, this tells the story of Maya after the events of The Strangers Chapter 1, which, if anyone hasn't seen it, it's basically a really bad remake of the original Strangers. And if you have not seen the original Strangers, it's just a home invasion horror movie where the motivation is because you're home. And there's just a lot of cliches in that one, and this definitely does fall in the cliche category. Now, I will say, this one is more watchable than Chapter 1, in my opinion. At least with cliches, I can watch more of these cliches than the cliches in this one. Now, there are dumb decisions in this one, but I think there are more dumber decisions in Chapter 1. Now, that can be debatable between people, but they were just full of cliches. My favorite part, when it comes to bad cliches, is the obvious phone bit. And I know there's so many more I could point out, but I think that's the one that stands out in my mind. Not only does it make a sound every time she hides, but she gets in like a little elevator thing. I can't remember. I don't know what it is in the hospital. But she gets in there and she runs, but she leaves her phone, and the next shot you see her running, it shows the phone in an elevator. And that was just an excuse to have a long running sequence. And this movie is just like, realistically, a cat and mouse game the entire time. It's not good. Maya was the best part of the movie. I really hate the flashback parts of it too, because the whole point of it was you don't know their backstory. The creepy kids, I do think they are creepy kids, but it's just really not a good movie, and it's just more the ones I watched. And it got to the point where there was one of those movies where I was actually getting interested at one point, and then they ended it. And I didn't know this, but apparently they did a little trailer for Chapter 3. So if you haven't seen it yet, they did Chapter 3 at the end of the credits. I didn't know that until today, so that's there. At number 7, I have Him. Now, Him is a football horror movie, and that is a really good way to describe it. Now, I'm not a football fan. I have never liked football, and that kind of does go back to my childhood. I've dealt with insomnia since I was 7. I've not had a good sleep since I was 7 years old, and I've always found it annoying. I don't care for it. There's a lot of football. There's a lot of visuals and say in this movie, and it kept me interested and intrigued, not bored watching it. But the story, not great. The messaging is very much like what you see in the trailer. There's not much deeper than that, and it's just a bunch of football and visuals, and it's just really not for me. Not my cup of tea. At number 6, I have The Conjuring: Last Rites. Now this is not a great Conjuring film, but it's a step up from the last one we got. Now this tells the story of Ed and Lorraine facing their first case again. Now there's a few things I actually like about this movie. I like the dynamic between the characters. I like that we return to a good dynamic characters. I like the siblings relationship between the sisters. I have a sister myself. But there's not an equal balance of the two stories here. Now, there are two stories in this movie. There's the Warrens family drama and The Haunting. I personally wanted more of The Haunting, and that's more or less what I go for the Conjuring movies for. But I can appreciate the little moments, but to me, it's just a basic Conjuring movie with an unequal balance of two different storylines, and definitely felt like it went on way too long. But the visual to me, I will say, is cool. That was actually really cool. And at number 5, I have The Gesture 2. Now, I've not seen the first one. But basically, The Gesture comes back on Halloween night to come back and kill people. And I had a really bad theater experience with this one. And I've had time to, since then, reflect on this movie. And I think it is a decent movie. And that's more or less what I land on it. I still don't fully like Max as a character. I do think there's some scenes she's better than others, and I still think my favorite character is that guy from the magic shop. Even though we get 2 scenes of him, he's still my favorite character. The kills were very much let down here. There's one kill, I was like, if you keep that up, involving like taking out of his mouth, that involved with that, there's more practical than the CGI, which I can appreciate. And even if there is CGI, the one most noticeable towards the end, which isn't that bad at all, it's decent. Nothing too special about it. I don't know if it's better than the first one. At number 4, I have The Spell from 1977. Now, this is basically a story about a teenager with supernatural powers. Does that sound a lot like Carrie that was released earlier? Yes. But this is a made-for-TV movie. And for a made-TV movie, I think you can draw a lot of similarities between Carrie, but I really like our main two. I like the mother in this one a lot. I think it's very surprisingly well acted. I liked our main lead a lot, and I'm not going to spoil the ending for everyone, but like I did not see that ending coming, and I absolutely loved it. Now, this is far from perfect, but for me, this is my kind of movie. And if you like 70s, check it out. It's made for TV. It's like on the background, you're trying to do something, trying to eat kind of movie. I enjoy it. It is something I will definitely go back to, but it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea. At number 3, I have Fun and Games from 1977. I knew a little bit about this movie going in, but what I did not know was the choice they made at the end, which now that I'm kind of thinking about it, it definitely stands out. Now, I do like this movie, and again, I like the motivation of the character is very punchable. Peter's a very punchable character, and I do like that element. And I do kind of like the torture and the dynamic they choose to go throughout that way of the movie. But there was just one stretch of time there between where they leave and then they come back again. And it's like a really long stretch of time that feels like that. And I wished it was shorter and I would have enjoyed it more, but it just feels like that drags on. And in my head, I was thinking, okay, you're gonna end it right here and it's gonna be the perfect shot. And it just kept going on, and that's my biggest complaint. I think is well acted at all. It's very well acted, and their gruesome kill there, and a little spoiler here. Go ahead to number 2 if you don't want to hear it. But the way the time was, I did not see that, and breaking the fourth wall of that, I enjoy that. I did not know anything about that. Love that. And number two and one were kind of hard. I have The Descent. Now, this is where a group of people go into a cave only to discover something that they wish they had not. Now, again, I didn't know anything going into this movie, and I think it's a good way to watch it. I like the dynamics between the characters, and you see what kind of happens in the first time around. And I do like that, but this movie just did not hit me like a lot of other people say they love it. It didn't hit me the same like that. Don't get me wrong, I think it's very creepy. I like that you don't see a lot of the creatures until way later on. And I like the characters and how the unspoken communication kind of goes. I like how that works. But something about this movie didn't really hit me 100%. Maybe if I watch it at a later date or a second watch, it will hit me. I think it's a good movie. It just didn't hit me like it seems to hit like a lot of other people. At number 1, I had The Long Walk. Now, this is the newest Stephen King movie that tells a story of people going on a very long walk to earn whatever they want. Now, this was a great movie. And it definitely has a lot of symbolism when it comes to the friendship between everyone, and I do like that. And I think the ending also is really touching. I do think it is more open-ended. My personal logic goes this. I think that the character died because I don't think he survived it, and he's walking into where everyone else is. And I don't know if anyone thinks that or what happens, but I like that. And the movie is just shot really well too. There's one shot I really like that has like a cat on like in a bookshelf with a blind cat. That just sticks out in my mind when I think of it. And I like the way that I like the character dynamics. I like how you kind of the one characters that you really like, they kind of have different stories and meanings and just how that gets there, especially when there's one reveal where he's the son of him, and I'm like, oh, that's there's a lot to like here. It's great. I do think this will be towards the top of the list for a lot of people's end of the year horror because it's got a lot of positivity, as it should. But that officially marks the end of the month for September, and I did, of course, and I didn't rank them here, but I did watch all the Piranhas in one video where I ranked all the Piranha films. So comment down below what movies you saw this month, or if you disagree with any of these placings, and I'll see you guys soon in October, which I'm very excited for because that month is going to be a lot of fun for me, and I just have a lot coming up. I'm looking forward to it. I'll see you guys next month for the start of spooky season.